we have our guest standing by because I have a question about those texts. Criminal defense attorney Michael Gottlieb is with us. Michael, this is someone who has alleged to have been a rape victim, someone who we see abuse, and she's having to answer for all of these texts from the beginning of their relationship throughout. Anytime she said, "I love you," anytime she said something positive, she's being confronted with that inside of the courtroom. Is that fair game in a, let's say, typical assault or rape or domestic violence type case where you bring in every time they ever said anything positive about their partner?
So that's a really interesting position, because what we're dealing with is a specific day and time. You know, did the rape happen on a specific day and time? But we're also talking about the culture of being a survivor, of being a victim, of having to undergo mental health counseling, of having PTSD. You don't get PTSD without a catalytic event that caused some kind of trauma. So while I do think it's fair game for the defense, I agree with the judge telling them be cautious, be efficient, sort of limit what you're doing. This is federal court. Federal court is very nuanced, very different. The judges have a lot more power. I don't really think it's fair for the judge to limit them, but I think it's absolutely fair for the defendant in this case to be able to delve into every single facet of that relationship to show this was our normal relationship. There was no rape here. Look at these texts.
The other women that we're expecting to testify in this case, and the other outside people, the bail escort that already testified, how does that help the government, bolster the government's case, is not just relying on Cassie Ventura?
Well, we've heard freakouts, so when you're piling on more and more people, and that text that we just heard that he sent, that was very bullying. Oh, I guess you're not going to do this anymore. You're just, I forget the exact words, this is so typical of you. That's actually bullying. And then I think when you add more and more people to the story, you're bolstering the claim of each and every witness who's saying, we had these freakouts, we had these orgies, men were involved, women were involved, pressure was involved. I think you're adding nuance upon nuance and really showing this is exactly what happened. This was his pattern. This was his MO, his modus operandi. This is how he behaved, and he victimized a lot of people.
And we know the prosecution has a lot more witnesses to get to. This 8-week trial, we're only into week 1. We will continue to get those updates for you outside of the courthouse in New York.
Coming up.